My phone buzzed with a fraud alert at 3 a.m., saying my business account balance had dropped below $10,000. I'd deposited $73,000 just 2 weeks ago from a major client contract. What my brother-in-law didn't know when he transferred $50,000 that morning was that I'd been tracking every suspicious transaction for the past month. Before we continue, make sure you subscribe, like, and share this story, because what happens next will leave you absolutely stunned. I sat up in bed, my heart pounding as I opened my banking app. The balance showed $8,247.18. 3 days ago, it had been $73,000. I scrolled through the transactions, my hands shaking. Wire transfer, $15,000. Recipient, Derek Sutton. Wire transfer, $12,000. Recipient, Derek Sutton. Wire transfer, $8,000. Recipient, Derek Sutton. Wire transfer, $50,000. Recipient, Derek Sutton. Derek Sutton, my husband's brother. Beside me, Connor was still sleeping. I wanted to shake him awake, to scream, but instead I grabbed my laptop and moved to my home office. I pulled up 3 months of bank statements. And there it was. A pattern I'd missed while juggling client projects and deadlines. Small transfers at first. $2,000 here. $3,500 there. Always with business-sounding descriptions. Consulting fee. Contract payment. Professional services. But they all went to Derek. My consulting business, Sterling Advisory Solutions, was mine alone. I'd built it over 6 years, growing from a solo freelancer to a firm with 8 contract consultants. I'd never hired Derek for anything. I'd never authorized him to touch my accounts. I called my bank's fraud line. This is Sterling Advisory, account ending in 4827. I have unauthorized transactions totaling. I did quick math. Approximately $97,000 over the past 3 months. The representative took my information and put me on hold. When she came back, her voice was careful. Ms. Sterling, according to our records, these transfers were authorized by Derek Sutton, who's listed as your chief financial officer with full account access. My blood went cold. I never authorized him as CFO. I never gave him account access. The paperwork was filed 6 months ago. Do you have access to your business documents? You would have signed. I didn't sign anything. A pause. Then we need to start a formal investigation. I'm flagging your account and freezing all external transfers immediately. You'll need to come into the branch with identification and file a fraud report. I hung up and immediately called my attorney, Lisa Hammond. It was 3:30 a.m., but this couldn't wait. She answered groggily. Isabel? What's wrong? Derek's been stealing from my business account. Nearly $100,000. And apparently he forged documents making himself my CFO. I heard rustling. Then Lisa's voice became sharp and alert. Don't call him. Don't confront him. Don't tell Connor yet. Get to my office at 8 a.m. We're filing a police report immediately. Connor doesn't know. I don't care. This is embezzlement and fraud. Document everything. Screenshots, statements, emails. Everything. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. I went through every transaction, every email, every document. And then I found it. Buried in my business email from 6 months ago was a message I didn't remember seeing. Updated banking authorization forms. It had an attachment, forms that supposedly needed my signature for updated account security protocols. I'd never opened it. It had gone to my spam folder. But someone had replied to that email. From my email address. Approved. Derek Sutton authorized as CFO with full account access. I checked the metadata. The email had been sent from my laptop. On a Tuesday afternoon when I'd been at a client site in Boston. My laptop had been at home, where Derek had access. Because Connor had given him our house key months ago. My stomach turned. At 6 a.m., Connor woke up and found me still in my office. Babe, you're up early. Come back to bed. I turned to look at him. When did you give Derek our house key? He rubbed his eyes. What? Derek. When did he get a key to our house? I don't know. Few months ago? He was helping me with some stuff while you were traveling. Why? What kind of stuff? Just moving furniture. Setting up my gaming room. Why are you asking about Derek at 6 a.m.? I pulled up my laptop screen showing the bank statements. Because your brother has stolen nearly $100,000 from my business account. Connor's face went white. He crossed the room, staring at the screen. There has to be a mistake. There's no mistake. He forged documents making himself my CFO. He's been draining my account for 3 months. Derek wouldn't, he's not. Connor ran his hands through his hair. Maybe he borrowed it. For an emergency. Borrowed. Without asking. $97,000. I'll call him. There's an explanation. Don't. My voice was steel. I have a meeting with my attorney in 2 hours. Derek has committed fraud. This isn't a family loan. This is a crime. You're going to press charges? Against my brother? Your brother stole from me. He's family. We can work this out. Maybe he needed. I don't care what he needed. He forged my signature. He hacked my email. He created fraudulent banking documents. That's not borrowing. That's embezzlement. Connor's phone rang. He looked at the screen. It's Derek. Don't answer it. He answered anyway. Hey, what's up? I couldn't hear Derek's side, but I watched Connor's face shift from concern to confusion to something like relief. Yeah, okay. I'll talk to her. I'm sure we can figure this out. He hung up. Derek knows you found out about the transfers. He wants to explain. How does he know I found out? What? I discovered this 3 hours ago. I haven't called him. I haven't texted him. How does he know? Connor's phone buzzed with a text. He read it and his face fell. He says he got an alert that the account was frozen. He says he needs the money unfrozen immediately because he has payments going out. Payments? For what? Connor scrolled through more texts. His business. His startup. He says you agreed to invest. I never agreed to invest in anything. He says you discussed it. That you were helping him get his company off the ground. Connor. I stood up. I never spoke to Derek about any business investment. Ever. Check your phone. When was the last time Derek and I even had a conversation? Connor scrolled through his messages. Through our family group chat. His face slowly changed as he realized the truth. Derek and I barely spoke. Maybe a few texts a year. Definitely nothing about business investments. He's lying, Connor said quietly. Yes. But why would he? He's my brother. He wouldn't just steal. His phone rang again. Derek. Connor let it go to voicemail. I have to go to my attorney's office, I said. You need to decide if you're coming with me or if you're going to keep defending the person who stole $100,000 from your wife. Connor came with me. Lisa's office was in downtown Seattle, a sleek space with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Puget Sound. She had a forensic accountant waiting with her. David Chun, a specialist in financial fraud. Tell me everything, Lisa said. I walked them through it. The transactions. The forged CFO designation. The email hack. The house key. David pulled up my bank records on his laptop. This is sophisticated. He didn't just make random withdrawals. He structured them to avoid immediate detection. Started small, built up gradually, then went for the big score. Classic embezzlement pattern. How much can we recover? I asked. Depends where the money went. David, can you trace it? David's fingers flew across his keyboard. Already on it. The receiving accounts are interesting. Multiple LLCs. All registered to Derek Sutton. Looks like he's been funneling your money into shell companies. For what? Connor asked, his voice hollow. Let's find out. David pulled up business registration documents. Sutton Enterprises LLC. Sutton Capital Group LLC. Sutton Investment Holdings LLC. He clicked through each one. All registered 3 to 6 months ago. All using addresses that are... These are UPS stores. None of these are real businesses. He created fake companies to hide the money, Lisa said. That's money laundering on top of embezzlement. Connor put his head in his hands. He told me he was starting a business. He said it was going well. I thought. You thought he was successful, I said quietly. He wanted you to think that. David pulled up more records. He's also got some interesting purchases. A Tesla. A boat. A timeshare in Cabo. All purchased in the last 2 months. Nearly $100,000. Gone. Spent on toys and fake businesses. We need to file a police report, Lisa said. Today. And we need to get a restraining order preventing him from accessing any of your accounts or properties. If we do that, the whole family will know, Connor said. The whole family should know, I said. Your brother is a thief. He's still my brother. Who stole from your wife. From the business that pays our mortgage. That funds our life. Connor looked at me, then at Lisa, then at David's laptop screen showing Derek's fraudulent purchases. Do it, he said finally. File everything. The police report took 3 hours. The detective assigned to the case was a middle-aged woman named Sarah Morrison who'd seen this before. Family member with access. Forged documents. Gradual escalation. She took my statement matter-of-factly. Classic trust violation. The good news is you caught it relatively early, and you have excellent documentation. We'll issue an arrest warrant. Arrest warrant, Connor repeated, like the words didn't make sense. Your brother committed multiple felonies. Wire fraud. Forgery. Embezzlement. Identity theft. This isn't a civil matter. This is criminal. Derek called Connor 47 times that day. Connor didn't answer. Instead, Connor called his parents. That conversation lasted 30 minutes and ended with Connor hanging up mid-sentence. They think you're overreacting, he told me. They said Derek made a mistake and we should handle it privately. A mistake. They want us to come to dinner tomorrow. To talk it out as a family. Did you tell them he stole $100,000? They said it's not stealing if it's family. That Derek was probably desperate. That we should help him, not prosecute him. I looked at my husband. Are you going to that dinner? He was quiet for a long moment. Then he picked up his phone and typed out a text to his parents. Derek committed multiple felonies. Isabel's pressing charges. If you want to support a criminal over your daughter-in-law, that's your choice. But I'm standing with my wife. He sent it before I could say anything. His phone immediately rang. He declined the call. Derek was arrested 2 days later at his apartment. The police found evidence of 13 other victims, mostly friends and distant relatives he'd scammed over the past 2 years. My $97,000 was just the biggest score. Connor's parents blamed me. Said I'd destroyed the family by pressing charges. Said I was vindictive and cruel. Connor's sister, Madison, was the only one who called to apologize. I lent him $8,000 last year. He never paid me back. I should have said something. The forensic accountant recovered $63,000 from Derek's accounts before he could move it offshore. The rest was gone, spent on his fake lifestyle. Derek took a plea deal. 3 years in prison for wire fraud and embezzlement. Connor's parents stopped speaking to us. But here's what happened next. I rebuilt my business account, implemented new security protocols, hired a full-time bookkeeper to monitor every transaction. Connor started therapy to process the betrayal by his brother and the rejection by his parents. And I learned something crucial. When someone steals from you, you don't stay quiet to keep the peace. You file the police report. You hire the forensic accountant. You press charges. Because theft is theft, even when it's family. Maybe especially when it's family. My name is Isabel Sterling. I own Sterling Advisory Solutions. And when my brother-in-law stole nearly $100,000 from my business account, I didn't handle it privately or within the family. I handled it legally. I got law enforcement involved. And I made sure he faced real consequences. Some people think family means you protect each other no matter what. I think family means you don't steal from each other in the first place. Derek learned that the hard way. And Connor learned that when his wife and his brother are on opposite sides, there's only one right choice. He chose me, and I've never doubted him since. Because when someone has to choose between protecting a thief and protecting their partner, the choice should be obvious. Connor made it. And 3 years later, when Derek gets out of prison, he'll know exactly what happens when you steal from family. You lose everything. Not just the money, but the people who trusted you. And that, I learned, is worth far more than $97,000.